to talk about how the Rams got to the Super Bowl. Some of the moves they made, some of the characters that are involved in that journey to get there. I cannot get everything. Feel free to write in with your favorite stories or favorite moments from the Rams' journey to the Super Bowl. But I kind of want to just use this moment to celebrate the team, celebrate the Rams and the journey they've been on. Win or lose, I think they've had an incredible year, and it's worth celebrating what they've done. Remember that the Rams went to the Super Bowl in 2018. They lost 13-3 to the New England Patriots, and their quarterback, Jared Goff, was not great in that game. And that's kind of where their Super Bowl journey begins, in my opinion. It was the Rams evaluating, is Jared Goff good enough to be our long-term quarterback here in LA? In 2019, they went 9-7. They did not make the playoffs at all. And last year in 2020, they did make the playoffs, but they actually benched their starting quarterback, Jared Goff, for their backup. Unofficially benched him for Jordan Wolford. If you asked the PR team, they would say Jared Goff was hurt. However, when Jordan Wolford got hurt and got knocked out of the playoff game, in came Jared Goff. Well, if Jared Goff was too hurt to play, then he shouldn't have played, but he did play. They benched him. They'll never tell you that. They had to save face so they could trade him away. But how rarely can you imagine a scenario where your starting quarterback is banged up a little bit but doesn't play in a playoff game? They benched him. There was a clear divide there. They thought they had a better chance to win with Jordan Wolford at quarterback, which is crazy, but that's a real thing that happened. And so in my opinion, the Rams Super Bowl run really began January 30th, 2021, last year, when they traded for quarterback Matthew Stafford. The Rams gave up Jared Goff, their quarterback, 2 first-round picks for 2022 and 2023, and a third-round pick to get Matthew Stafford, their new starting quarterback. And Stafford is a guy, that's why the Super Bowl is so cool, because whether Joe Burrow wins and the Bengals win or the Rams and Matthew Stafford win, it's a cool story either way. Matthew Stafford spent 12 years in Detroit with the Lions, had 0 playoff wins in that time. He played brilliantly, really, really fantastic football at times, but the team just could not win around him. And 1 year in LA now, he's got 3 playoff wins. He's now in a Super Bowl. And he had one of the best years of his career, like an all-time top 3 year, statistically, production-wise, of his entire career. And it's awesome, man. Again, I really think Matthew Stafford is a key character on this football team. He's really elevated this football team. He's done some stuff that Jared Goff cannot. I've been critical of the guy at times, but I don't want my criticism of him to be mistaken for a lack of respect or understanding that without Matthew Stafford, the Rams would not be here at all in this moment. Now, there's kind of a weird story from this year. Believe it or not, Deshaun Jackson, a speedy wide receiver, decided, I don't want to be on the Rams anymore. He felt like he wasn't getting the ball enough, not enough production, and he wanted out of LA. He felt unused. He actually went to the Raiders after they lost Henry Ruggs. But what that did was open the door for the Rams to realize, hey, we need another receiving threat. And then Odell Beckham Jr. wanted out of Cleveland. He got released. And when they got the opportunity, the Rams signed Odell Beckham Jr. to be their new receiving weapon, which in my opinion is an upgrade from Deshaun Jackson. Kind of a crazy, weird turn of events that really ended up helping out the LA Rams. Now, unfortunately, on the same day they signed Odell, about an hour later, literally, their top receiver, Robert Woods, their number 2 receiver next to Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods tore his ACL. And so it was kind of oh my gosh, thank goodness we did trade for Odell, because if we hadn't made that move, or thank God we signed Odell, because if we hadn't made that move, we would have been with Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson, and that's it. No other top receiver to work with our football team. And it took a little bit for OBJ to make an impact. There was a little bit of an adjustment period. The Rams kind of struggled at the middle of the year around the time they lost Robert Woods. They added OBJ. There was a lot of change going on, and I think that did hurt them. But eventually, once they settled in and got in a rhythm, Odell made a massive impact. And during their playoff run, he's made some really big plays and had some big games. Now, before the year even started, during training camp, the Rams running back Cam Akers tore his ACL. Tragic, sad, not cool. And that prompted LA to trade for Patriots running back Sony Michel. They traded a 4th and a 6th round pick to get Sony Michel because they're like, look, we need a running back. We need somebody who can make an impact on our team. He actually led the Rams in carries and yards. He had over 200 carries and 845 yards rushing. He shared the load with Darrell Henderson. And then, miraculously, during the playoff run, Cam Akers came back, which I really respect. His work ethic and the rehab it took for him to get back in time to be a part of the playoff run is pretty incredible. Cam Akers is amazing. And again, I go back to, like, every time the Rams had something go wrong, they were like, how can we find an answer? We lost our receiver. We need to fill a void. Let's get OBJ. Okay. We lost Cam Akers. We need to make a move. Let's go get Sony Michel. Over and over and over, the Rams made a lot of moves this year, a lot of transactions for big starting players, and they worked over and over again. At the trade deadline, the Rams made a move for Broncos star linebacker / edge rusher Von Miller. They gave up their 2nd and 3rd round pick in 2022 to get him. He's a huge star. To pair Von Miller with Aaron Donald on their defensive line, the impact that the interior rusher can have. For example, in the Super Bowl, Isaiah Prince is a big problem for the Bengals. He's their right tackle. He's not very good. If you put Von Miller one-on-one with Isaiah Prince, you're going to win that matchup over and over again. Now, let's say, okay, we got to clearly help Isaiah Prince. Let's put a double team on Von Miller. Well, you also got to put a double team on Aaron Donald. Then you got a one-on-one matchup. The numbers don't work. So Aaron Donald and Von Miller together creates a problem for every single offensive line you can run into, and he's made a huge impact. Now, think about this. This is crazy. The Rams traded away all but 3 of their draft picks for the upcoming 2022 NFL draft. They will get a compensatory pick at some point, but it's kind of a cool approach, in my opinion, actually. It reminds me a lot of, in the NBA, a guy like LeBron James who realized, I don't want to work with young players. He's like, rookies in the NBA, I don't know. Like, I don't want to teach new guys how to play. I want veteran impact players. And in a different sport, for sure, but at a different scale, the Rams have said, look, who cares about draft picks? We don't need 1st-round picks, 2nd-round picks, even apparently 3rd-round picks. We want Von Miller. We want Odell. We want Sony Michel, Matthew Stafford. We're going to make big moves, trade away our future to get players to win now. And you got to give a shout out to the Rams general manager, Les Snead, for making move after move after move. And he and the Rams have been all in on the Super Bowl this year. I think they have a window. If they lose the Super Bowl this year, for example, I think the Rams still have a window open for next year as well. Although, can you imagine if the Rams do not win the Super Bowl this year? How much that would hurt. All the moves they made, they're all in. And you lose to Cincinnati, the Bengals, who are just lucky to be here. That's a crazy thought. Now, I have to mention the Rams left tackle, Andrew Whitworth. He's a cool story. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for his contributions in giving back to the community. He also is like a really cool stand-up guy. Apparently, there's a great story where he actually rehabbed with Joe Burrow last year in L.A. Joe Burrow destroyed his knee. They were rehabbing together. They watched games together. They both went to LSU. They actually won titles at LSU years apart. Now, Andrew Whitworth is playing Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. And even crazier, the only 2 teams Andrew Whitworth has played for during his NFL career. He spent 9 years with the Cincinnati Bengals and then came to L.A. in 2017. And so now he's playing his old team in the Super Bowl, his buddy, Joe Burrow. And again, this Super Bowl you can't lose. If you're a Rams fan, obviously you want the Rams to win, but I think there's good people on both sides of the field in this one, and it's a lot of people you can root for, and certainly Andrew Whitworth is one of those people that is so easy to love and easy to root for. Now here's another cool story. Let me drink some water real quick first. In January, the Rams made a move and signed veteran safety Eric Weddle after 2 years of retirement. He left the game for 2 years. Was a stud, was an incredible player. But what's incredible is after 2 years away from the game, he came back in shape, prepared, and played really good. He's ready to go. In fact, in the Super Bowl, he will be the Rams defensive play caller, which to not have been on the team in December, to be now calling plays on defense in the Super Bowl is an incredible turn of events. And another guy, I love Andrew Whitworth. I love Eric Weddle. There's so many people that are easy to root for the Rams in the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford, for him to get a Super Bowl would be so meaningful to him because he's a guy that I think is on the edge of maybe a Hall of Fame career. And if Stafford wins a Super Bowl here, that pushes him over the top towards a potential Hall of Fame finish for his career. There's one more cool character that I love on the Rams, and that is their star receiver, Cooper Kupp. I had to mention him. I remember watching this guy live in college at Eastern Washington. He went to a small D1 AA school, and he dominated. He was incredible at Eastern Washington. And I remember going with my friends who were like, you think Cooper's going to go to the NFL? I think he's going to go to the NFL. He's way better than literally everybody. And not only did he go to the NFL, make a Pro Bowl, he actually led the NFL in receiving and yards and catches this year. He won the NFL Offensive Player of the Year this year. Cooper Kupp had 145 catches, 1,947 yards, and 16 touchdown catches. Almost a single season record for the most yards. He's second most behind Calvin Johnson, and he's got the second most catches in a single season behind Michael Thomas. That is incredible. Cooper Kupp's had a great year. I love the guy. He's hard to hate, easy to love, really seems like a great dude. And on top of that, you have to really admire and respect how quickly Cooper Kupp developed chemistry with his new starting quarterback, Matthew Stafford. It's pretty unreal the way they got on the same page so quickly and shredded the NFL week after week after week, game after game. Now, the Rams went 12-5 this year. They only lost to playoff teams, which I think kind of is a testament to how good of a football team they are. Their only losses this year came to Arizona, Tennessee, Green Bay, and they lost to the 49ers 2 times, which is just, again, this is from the beginning, the Rams have been a Super Bowl favorite and a team that everybody's been like, oh, this team, they put it together, they could make a run. They're really, really good. And they've been good all year. In the playoffs, they beat Arizona and Tampa. They beat Arizona and Tampa twice last year. And then in the NFC title game, LA beat the 49ers for the first time in 3 years to go to the Super Bowl. So that is how the Rams got here. They traded for Matthew Stafford. They made move after move after move. They had a great year. And I just think there are so many people on this Rams team that are easy to root for, including their head coach, Sean McVay. I love their head coach. He would be, I believe, the youngest head coach ever to win a Super Bowl if he wins on Sunday. And I don't know, man. No matter what prediction I make in this Super Bowl, I just want people to know that I will be happy no matter who wins, because I really, really have enjoyed the Rams this year. I respect what they've done. And they've got so many people: Eric Weddle, Andrew Whitworth, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Jalen Ramsey. I didn't even talk about him. Aaron Donald, so many people that are not only stars, but also are people that are entertaining and fun to root for. And if the Rams win, I will not be disappointed. And they've got a lot of people that I've really enjoyed rooting for and watching this year in the NFL.